they said, are they trying to make him Tony Soprano without the internet? Bro had a network distribution of over 1,000 channel bundle pack across the country on HBO with internet, with YouTube already, with LimeWire already, with limousines, with cell phones already, with Wall Street. They're trying to make him tone. Now we have TikTok, we have cell phones, we have iPhones, we have Androids, we have Apple computers. They had that already in the the 2000s? It's not even that old. Just because you change the film and you make the film look vintage camera, like I'm shooting on an iPhone 10, doesn't mean they didn't have internet, TV networks, $1 trillion, bundle packs of cable television already. Cinemax, Stars, Channel 2468, Channel 1000 with ESPN, already on Tony Sopranos with optical fiber optics. Just because I'm an island boy and for some odd reason somebody has police cars and now we're on zero on Eastkey Street. Eastkey Street is just when the car is on zero. We don't have money. You gotta walk back to the police station. Put the car back there, like, in Grand Theft Auto. You gotta drop the car. Now you gotta run back to the station and you gotta figure out how are we about to become an earner. Tony Soprano without internet. They had internet in people's grandma's day and age when they was playing solitaire online, winning billions of dollars playing solitaire. All they did was connect the cars, still had cars left over. They had $1 million checks and to their bank accounts. Now they're saying Josh Ford, what if he's a Tony Soprano, a godfather without internet? I said, that's not legal for the management to not have internet if I don't have internet. That's not legal for banks not to have internet. Stars, Cinemax, that was distributed across the globe, even in black boxes that connect in different countries. Middle East was watching TV, Tony Sopranos. You gotta be kidding me. Al Pacino had internet. Now on the islands in Hawaii, Maui Island, they're talking about no internet and bank for Josh Ford. They say they say he don't have internet, a phone, and a bank. Now I gotta say, everybody already had that in the back of their car with a wire on it. How now I'm the already had that in the back of their car with a wire on it? How now I'm the young? So let's see what happens. Hello? Yep, this is Josh Ford. JOSHFORDE. Nice to meet you, Greg. 033 72 2909. 04 05 1989. So I was raised in Hawaii, but I was born in Boston, Massachusetts. 615 West Papa Avenue, APT number 2E11. But I don't have a house right now, and I don't have resources. For now, yeah, that's one of them I get to use. So my mom's name is Georgina McKinley. So I'm Josh Ford, / McKinley as well. Yes, so I do get some, but the amount that I've been given has not met the amount of work that I have done. So it's interesting um, that's the equation where I wouldn't have enough money to eat, and the bank also froze my account. So not only was my amount too low, but for some reason I was wanting to call because the bank itself took the money, which I was shocked. I'm saying that's definitely true, as well as not knowing maybe how to tell that that's how much points are on the board. Let's say Michael Jordan scored 60, but it's hard to maybe say that. Now you gotta watch the footage and we have to go through the accounting, right? Okay, so I have done a lot more work than the amount that was paid to me, but the amount that was paid to me, I haven't been able to get for 2 months. Mm-hmm. So I've been working for a long time. That's different work from the work calculated because the amount given was an amount that if we give that to anybody, it wouldn't be able to survive on. So I've worked with the state of Hawaii. Yeah, for a while. So that alone, I was already being able to live, right? So I don't have even, so that alone, people who work at the state, they get more money than not to be able to eat when they retire. So you could go down the list. But that one alone, people who work at the state, they retire and then they get more than what it shows. So that's the first. No, but the problem is here is after 20 years, they make 1 million, 10 million, 30 million. The problem here is if you give anybody the amount there, right? If Curry gets injured or Kobe gets injured, they can eat. Nobody can eat off of that if I give you my paycheck of that. And I work for the state. No, this is my job references of why Social Security owes me more. Gotta, yeah, but if that's incorrect, because nobody would be able to get paid minimum wage if you only get paid that much. That means that would be unsurvivable. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm speaking with you right now on the phone to say that I have a large work history, and what if people aren't fair? So if you don't pay somebody minimum wage, now I have you saying that nobody gets to eat in America. Because somebody else can what? They can forge the documents to make money off of my work earned. This is what happens in America with corporations or people who put in a lot of work, that then somebody would have to say, okay, is the work documented on the internet? Is the work documented online? Is his resume longer than what the taxes show? What if they didn't pay him for taxes for the work that he did? Then I would have to speak professionally on the phone with you and say, like, there's a lot of work. Like, if they today started not calculating your work on the phone, that wouldn't be cool of them, right? Even though if you work 8 hours today and they just say, like, bro only worked 1 hour, we're only gonna give him this much. You, how? Not if they discredit your clock in and clock out time.
I'm gonna go to the post office.
I work with the state.
Do you want anything or do you wanna come?
I have a lot of documents, but I gotta be on the phone right now.
What?
Probably later.
Oh, I gotta go now. Don't do too much documents.
Yeah, so what if I do the work and it's not showing? So if you're working right now 8 hours and it goes uncalculated for, what are you gonna show me? If they No, but I'm talking about right now. If we're talking about work on the phone, right? If me and you are working on the phone with each other and it goes for what? Let's take a look at it. So right now is 8 minutes. So us, me and you communicating professionally, that's 8 minutes on the phone, and that's a receipt. But what if we send that in? Where are we gonna send this 8 minute receipt on the phone in? To taxes?
So
Without
you wouldn't.
no, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because me and you, if me and you were on the phone, right? Take It is Social Security, but if we were doing business just with talking, like legally, so as each minute we speak, it's being charged and billed against me. If me and you are talking each minute, where would I send that to?
Oh, so you file a 1040 SE for self-employment. So like a lawyer, when you call a lawyer and they bill you like by the minute or the hour or whatever,
Oh,
what
so
they do is they then send you an invoice, you pay them, and then they file a 1040 SE self-employment, and then they get credit
so you
for
just
it because they pay tax.
so you told me today I would have to pay them. That's the problem, because if me and you
No,
are
only if you have income. Only if you have income. You don't have income from our conversation.
yeah, but me and you are still doing a form of work professionally. So
But you don't get credit for, you only get credit on earnings or work that you pay taxes on. So if you volunteer somewhere or if you do work that you don't get paid for, then you don't get credit.
yeah, but people work at the state all the time and volunteer and get paid.
And if they get paid, they pay taxes on it.
Yeah,
The
so
state
I'm
pays taxes and you pay taxes.
so how would I get paid today? So if I'm on zero, right? If my social security didn't go to my bank for some odd reason, I have to talk to you. But the social security was two checks that didn't go to my bank. So the last 2 months it didn't go to my bank because my bank was also frozen. So those didn't go to my bank for some reason and they were frozen, but they were also like, what if the person is a sole survivor and I don't have time right now to say like, okay, I worked at YouTube for this many years. This is the amount of work that it did. YouTube is one of the biggest corporations, right? But if I gotta get paid today, how would that happen to represent my check being able so I can eat? Because Social Security would have to be a way to socially secure me with the administration so I could survive and eat today as a sole survivor. So I would want to eat today, and I would even want to help my friend that I'm on the phone with. So then I would want to be like, okay, bro, there's this much, and we could go eat right now, but you didn't get two of them, and the ones you got, if I had to pay rent for $1,000, I'm already homeless. I don't have a house. If I gave you the money of $1,000, you wouldn't have a house. And you wouldn't be socially secure, even if you had work or not. If you didn't work and you were slow mentally, I would still give you more money than $1,000 if you had Down syndrome. If you weren't a sole survivor, right, and you didn't just actually go through it on different secret services, and you had Down syndrome, I would give you more than $1,000 in good faith and by your best interest, because your rent would be too much, and then you wouldn't have food. Even if you didn't work, but you are working today. But let's say you didn't work today. If I gave you $1,000 for free, not even Social Security, you would be homeless tomorrow. Not even Social Security. If I just gave you the money from my pocket for free, you would be homeless tomorrow without a house and a car. And that's not what Social Security does, or what even Josh Ford does to people. And I don't work there.
So I'm not responsible for determining anyone's benefit amount. The amount is calculated on what we have as your earnings record. And if your earnings record is incorrect, we can correct it.
Well, we could correct that, because if you had Down syndrome right now and I gave you $1,000 because you have Down syndrome, you wouldn't make it if you were a sole survivor. If I gave you $1,000 and you were on the field as a basketball player or a general, what would you do? You wouldn't do a thing with $1,000. If I gave you that right now, if I walked to your office, gave you $1,000 and I had to watch how you manage it, you wouldn't do that. So I would say, yeah, put the number as an increased number. And know that if you look at my bank, it says that it didn't accept the 2 payments for no reason. And Social Security and my bank are supposed to protect me with Medicaid, Medicare, and even enough to retire my mom. So if I got kids, if I got a family, and even if I got my grandparents, if I'm putting in more work than you right now on YouTube, right? And my YouTube is blowing up to thousands of views across the world, and I need consumer protection as a legal team. If I gave you $1,000 because you have Down syndrome, you wouldn't be able to survive if you had to make it through the hospital. You wouldn't be able to pay your dental, and you wouldn't be able to pay your hospital bill in the ambulance. Whether you work 20 years now or whether you only work today. And you're the one that's working right now. I'm the one that's on all platforms. I'm the one with Google, working at Google and YouTube. I'm the one that has a resume on LinkedIn. And I'm the one that's showing you that if we had to look at COLA, right, like the cost of living and adjustment, if anybody had $1,000, if you had Down syndrome and I gave you $2,000, you would still be homeless tomorrow. And guess what would happen to your car? Your car would be repoed. You wouldn't have jewelry on. You wouldn't know where is your vehicle. You would look stupid still. Even if you had a job and I paid you like 2K, your 2 stacks would be gone like tomorrow or yesterday. So I just gotta get it redistributed and the correct amount where I don't have to second guess and I could take care of my family, even if I considered you a good fellow and now a part of my family.
So Josh, I want you to get the correct benefit amount. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I
If
need
you
the
can't give me
correct
any
amount.
information,
I
if
have
you can't give me
my.
any information about your work history, then how
Okay,
am I supposed to figure out your
let's
correct
go
amount?
with the state of Hawaii and the state of Maui County. We did a lot of work with the state of Hawaii and the state of Maui County, and I don't have Down syndrome. Those two alone, I could take care of my mom, I could get a house and a car, and we could keep the economy rolling. But guess what? I'm not gonna be as, say there's a billionaire that works till they're 100. I'm not probably that one unless I gotta put in a legal case with my legal team, and this is part of the proof that I'm being underpaid with the state of Hawaii and as a state employee. So if I have a legal team and I gotta represent it with the state of Hawaii, and now I'm losing money by being on the phone too long, this could then be proof about somebody wanting to use Social Security to underpay me and harm me. So I gave you two of the jobs. Now I'm going to give you Verizon Wireless. Boom. So I gave you the state of Hawaii, state of Maui County. I did a lot of work for with the University of Hawaii, as well as many other non-profit organizations. Even the
Okay, so
Maui.
I don't have any earnings from the county.
Yes, but this is why I'm telling you that many things can go undocumented, but I'm on the phone with somebody who's smart and doesn't have Down syndrome. People with Down syndrome make more money in Social Security than you and me, and they didn't work at the state. They didn't work at the state. They didn't work in the community. They didn't work at Verizon, and they have Down syndrome. And they get paid more than you and me, and you work at the office. So fix my account and put the money in there, and then put 2 checks in the mail so I know it's good at whatever bank, because it's not supposed to stop if I have Social Security, and then for 2 months it's not supposed to. And it's supposed to know that if you type in Josh Ford and do research and due diligence, my resume speaks for myself. And that's with the state of Hawaii, the Maui County, the United States of America, as well as 200 countries. If you give that to the president, it wouldn't survive. If they gave it to you, it wouldn't survive. So put in a money amount that's survivable. I cannot deal with this. What good is LinkedIn? What good is the government? What good is collecting my fingerprints, me going to the bank, me doing transactions, me doing more transactions than the amount of net worth? What good is that in America if Social Security has more Down syndrome and is more special educated on the phone, but they can put in the correct amount of money and they have the time to do research and due diligence and actually work with the state. So instead of having me express it, they could send out 2 checks, put in the amount that's livable, and then they could correct it the next time. Every time they do their research and due diligence, oh my God, he just told me that I wouldn't survive. Okay, give him more. He just told me if I had Down syndrome, they would have more than him working there. So now somebody with Down syndrome looks smarter than the worker that I was just talking to on the phone. So then they gotta stop their time and they gotta start thinking slowly. Like, okay, so why was I just on the phone? He gave me his name, his phone number, his social security. He he gave that right there. You can find work, and then he said, you have work history here. People with Down syndrome make more from Social Security than the person working there. And they never worked with all of these jobs. And I gave him my jobs. I told him I wanted it updated. I gave him my name. I told him it's too low. If I gave him 2,000 of my own money, he would lose his house, his car, his food. And I would watch it. I would cash management. Financial management. I said, where is it going? What are you going to do with it? Then it would all be depleted and lost, and he would be outside, and somebody with Down syndrome would be smiling. Because this is why education is important, right? Because if you give somebody with Down syndrome enough money, they make the workers look stupid if he was actually working and say, why don't you update my job history then to something I can live on from the last 2 months, and then go do your research on what is real work, even if it then goes what? Unidentified or unaccounted for corporations to save millions. They do this every single year, even if it's just technology errors and people writing things that they don't know. Just look at the number. So then I gotta pull out the number right here and say, okay, here's this for you. Let's go see what you're about to do. Where's your house, car, and everything on for zero now? Then I'm about to watch it. So like, what's the hustle, bro? What's the hustle, bro? See, that's a big problem in America. I don't know why. And then I gotta have my own consumer protection because what is that? $12,000? What I gotta do? Split this in half? Give it to him up front and say, yeah, but you work today and you're younger than me. And say, later on down the line, I'm not gonna give you anything because then the cost of living is gonna be too high. And you sound like you have Down syndrome. You sound like I gotta help you on the telephone slowly go through your own work while you're in the AC. That means if that's a general on the other side of the field and you never ran 100 yards, go do that with the money bag. I cannot deal with this. That's why I had to hang up, because if I got another important thing, like I was supposed to run to the post office and the lawyer. The post office and the lawyer, that supersedes like talking about this and that. Somebody who worked 100 years, stay committed to the game, no injuries. Bro, they're a trillionaire. That's a what? They say like a $10 trillion agency. That's the 90-year-old that didn't have injuries, still in the game, saying, yeah, you know, we went through a lot of battles, and I'm still here in business. Social Security got me. I'm a $10 trillion agency, but this dude on the phone sounds like he's special ed, not the City Pop special version. I could just say that alone in the streets. I could say Revolution alone in the streets, and they would understand that and create a protest on the side of the road in front of the office, and then say like, who is this? I made too much money on Wall Street to just say Wall Street alone in taxes didn't pay me $2,000. Like, if you get injured, you supposed to be able to be retired from the game, but you're not Kobe money. You're not LeBron money, but you're a millionaire on the side. But you're not LeBron 30 years in the game dunking on everybody 10 trillion. You're not the president, whether it's true or not, or whatever. If he's doing something crazy, he's still doing work. Like, why I gotta listen to all of them around me? You put the money in the people with the ability to print money gotta question themselves legally. Like, how much money did you have in your AC to not even understand that anybody who work supposed to get paid, whether they retire in the little leagues or their first year in the majors? They're still an all-star for the state and good. But they're not a what? They're not the LeBron that's still going, or the Kevin Durant, or what, the 50-0 Mayweather. Those ones, they take it exceptional, above and beyond. That's the money and that's the constant cash, right? But the person who still goes and tries to attempt, that's the person that's on the couch drooling, like this one on the phone. He was drooling on the pillow on the phone, like, what do I click? Say, I don't know, you work there. Just make something that it goes to my mailbox that I just gave you before you turn into an impersonator and a fraudulent kind of co-conspirator that's trying to kill a soul survivor. Send it to if I don't have a house, send it to my emergency mailbox. If I don't have a house, if I don't have a car, bring that to me in cash from your own pocket and don't question it. Do your research, Twitter fingers, and type in the rest. Fill in the blanks, like how everybody on social media do. All the words. I thought you was still working still with her too. It's like the whole city knows now. Social Security is somebody in the office that don't know how to make money go into a duffel bag, so he can retire his mom, take care of his godfather. He got to take care of his godfather. How old is the godfather if I'm working for Maui Economic Opportunities for $10? Go calculate it. That's under minimum wage. What is that? 30 years ago. Under minimum wage, 30 years ago, 30-year retroactive back pay. He did that amount of work. He didn't get paid for it. Fill up his bank account. He's already a billion, trillion up there. Why does it say 1,000? Now I got to take care of dude on the phone because he's drooling. And now he don't know what to do. How? If my record is 100-0. If I'm 50-point club, how?